And we are live. Here we go. Cueing the theme song.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah.
It's a new experience.
Yeah, keep your ears open for this one now. You got a question for
RLM?
It's time to get some answers, baby.
Oh, now we getting real.
It's time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good.
Ooh, wait, time to get real. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. I'm your host, Global Happiness Specialist, Rebecca L. Norrington. No, the L is not for loser. Rebecca L. Norrington, happiness specialist, inner peace practitioner, oracle, Reiki practitioner, fitness instructor, mother, but most importantly, an ongoing student. And student, when I say student, there's always something to learn. There's always something to expand. There's always growth. Growth is possible in every single moment. When you practice what I share, which when I say happiness, happiness is a practiced skill, just like any other skill, from being a chef, a landscaper, a painter, and an athlete, an artist, musician. Happiness is a practice skill. And when I say happiness, I'm not talking about, oh, something happens and now I'm happy. No, when I say the word happiness, I'm talking about a personal vibration, a personal energy of contentment, regardless of what happens, regardless of your circumstances, regardless of the stories that are never ending, regardless of what's happening out there. This happiness, this energy of contentment, how do you maintain and how do you sustain that? Is it even possible? And the answer is yes, with practice, which reminds me, this is my latest book. It's called Programmed for Unhappiness, Exposing the Untold Truth. It's on Amazon. And in this book, I list 56, I'm up to 58 now, but 56 program behaviors that subtract from a person's happiness. And it is about the programming. It's not about what happens. It's not about what you're going through. It's your programmed perspective. And usually, that there is a clue. I don't know about you, but let me just back up a little bit. I was never taught about find a new perspective. Find something to be grateful for. Find a different perspective. And with that, today's topic is measuring trust. But before I go on, I want to share just a little intro. I'm getting a lot of people finding the show, and welcome to all new listeners. This show, Reality Spirituality Radio. Let's see, almost 15 years, is it? 2012, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, I've got to count on my hands now. Fingers, not hands, fingers. Yeah, almost 15 years, over 650 live shows. They were all downloaded to YouTube, and now, I've got to figure out how to get back on iHeart. But I digress. iHeart, Spotify, all of those. The newer shows are going to be downloaded soon. But let me just get back to the topic. Let me define happiness. My definition of happiness is the ability to vibrate an energy of peace and contentment regardless of what happens. the ability to vibrate an energy of peace and contentment regardless of what happens. I was looking at a video today of someone that I know, and they had a circumstance. It was interesting. They went outside and found out that two of their tires were flat. One of those freak things. I mean, whose tires are flat? Two tires. And watching the video, no judgment, I'm just making an observation. You can feel the energy and the vibration that was not here. It wasn't on a level. It wasn't here. It was deflated. That's the word I want to use. There was a deflated type of vibe, a deflated type of energy. And I'm going to speak for myself. I know exactly uh, why that happens. And it happens, I'm going to speak for myself. I allow the ego, or I allow this mental entity that tells me this is who you are. I allow that to take over, and this is happening to me, taking it personally, thinking that there is no greater reason for, or scratch that, now thinking, believing that there is no greater reason. I was having a conversation with my sister the other day, and we were talking about when I used to take the bus. And I remembered that there was a time when I would, why I'm all over the place, when I would, run to get on the bus. If I saw the bus coming, I would run. And then there was a time in my life where I stopped running and I just started walking. Even when the bus was right there, I didn't run to get to the bus. I just kept walking very slowly. And sometimes I would be right, maybe, I don't know, halfway to the door, and the bus driver would just take off. And my sister said, "Didn't that piss you off?" And I said, "No, I wasn't supposed to get on that bus." And that's what I'm talking about, the practice of measuring trust, and how deep and how consistent are you when you practice trust. There was this was back in 2021. I was highly insulted by Walter O'Brien. It's in the book. And he when I say insulted, there's no such thing as being insulted, offended. There's no such thing. That's just another program. But again, he said something to me about if you can't measure, because we're talking about happiness, and he said, if you can't measure it, it means nothing. It has to be measured. But you can measure a vibration. You can measure energy. You can measure your personal energy and vibration. And how do you maintain and sustain that energy of ongoing trust without being affected by the world, without being affected by what's going on outside, without being affected by what's on the news? And that's not to say that my head is in the sand and I don't realize what's going on, but there is a there I contribute what I believe. My contribution to the world is my vibration. My contribution to the world is my energy. And so when I say practicing and or measuring trust, I'm going to throw that out. It's very easy to practice trust when the birds are singing and you're skipping through the tulips. The challenge comes from measuring trust when life doesn't feel so good. Life doesn't look so good. Life is upside down. You've been hit by the universal baseball bat. That is when I know that it's just like learning how to ride a bike, or learning how to drive a stick shift. That's when I know, you never forget. Once you learn how to ride a bike, or once you learn how to drive a stick shift, you don't forget. And so back to the practicing trust and measuring trust, how often, again, it's easy to practice. It's easy to practice when everything is fine, when the sky is blue. But the practice comes from going right to that story or that experience that is the ego says is not wanted. And there are tons of them. There are tons of examples of unwanted experiences, but I'm here to share that all experiences, I don't care what it is, how it's defined, how it's labeled, all experiences serve a purpose. And you either practice trusting that to be true or you don't. And the practice comes from surrendering. The practice comes from believing, a deep-seated belief that there is a purpose to all of it. It's not an easy practice, but there is a purpose to everything that happens. There are no mistakes. There is nothing that happens that hasn't been signed off. It's all in divine order. And back to measuring trust. This is a personal question, so only you can answer this. How easy or how often are you practicing? Are you able to relax, especially in the middle of the storm, which is not an easy practice? But how often are you able to just go to? And when I say go to, just shift, relax, trust, next, surrender without resistance. How often, not only how often, how easy is that? And the easiness comes from, the ease comes from continual practice. Continual practice, continuing practicing trust, blind trust in every single moment. Not just when, oh, this is great. Oh, yeah, thank you. But when the storm hits. When the tornado and the tsunami has you, you know what I'm talking about, my dear audience. How often are you able just to go to that, even without any thought or story about why is this happening? This quote unquote shouldn't be happening. That's when you know it's from the ego. This shouldn't be happening. Everything happens with a purpose and a reason. And you either practice trusting that and believing that, or you don't. And let me just say this. I get a lot of emails and a lot of disagreement, a lot of pushback. And I'm here to say that I don't pretend to know all of it, all the answers. But what I will tell you is, I definitely know, I definitely know that this practice has worked for me. And how do I know that? Because I'm at a point where that there is nothing that can offend me. No one can offend me. No one can hurt my feelings. That's my responsibility, my feelings. It's not the circumstances. It's not the circumstances that happen that are responsible for my vibration, whether I'm vibrating here or whether I'm vibrating there. It's not about the stories. I practice knowing that the stories, that the endless thoughts are not me. Not me. My thoughts, my stories is not my identity. And it is a constant constant, never-ending practice. There are no breaks. You don't get vacations. You don't get time off. This practice is constant. There is always something to do. There is always a mirror, and the practice is done in the mirror. That's why it's a road less traveled. It's a practice less practiced, because the mirror the mirror is the key. That's how much power you have. It's not about out there. It's about looking in the mirror and really saying, how can I practice doing something different? And when I'm using this when Rebecca, even that, it's putting Rebecca witnessing and observing this Rebecca, and not identifying with her or what she's done or her titles or her position. It's really getting down to practicing knowing. I know it sounds a little crazy, but knowing that this physical is not who I am. It's just what somebody called it, a meat jacket. It's not who I am. And this practice is not easy, and this practice is not for everyone. But when you get to a point when you really value what is important along this journey, you're going to find out. I don't care how many accomplishments, how many goals met, how much money in the bank, how many great relations, how much you've traveled, how many titles behind your name. It has nothing to do with the level of contentment, nothing to do with the energy of contentment you will feel. And in fact, what I love to share is there's a very famous study done by a hospice nurse. You can Google it. It's called The 5 Most Common Regrets of the Dying. 5 Most Common Regrets of the Dying. And so these are people that had days to live, weeks to live, months to live. And she asked them, her name is Bronnie Ware, Bronnie, Bronnie Ware. And she asked them, what are your biggest regrets? And these 5 regrets kept coming back over and over and over again. Number 1, I wish I had pursued my dreams and aspirations and not the life others expected of me. Not only the life others expected of me, how about the life I expected of me? All expectations subtract from your happiness. Number 2, I wish I didn't work so hard. Number 3, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings and speak my mind. Number 4, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. I always put an asterisk. Sometimes we outgrow people. Nothing wrong with them, nothing wrong with you, but it's just time. If someone is in your life, it's time for them to be in your life. And if they're not, guess what? It's not time. Number 5, I wish I would have let myself be happier. Whether you get it now or whether you get it on close to your deathbed, there will be a revelation. There will be a there will be, wow, what is truly important. I don't care how wealthy, in fact, ask anyone that's wealthy. Is your money buying you any more happiness? Is your money able to take away your insecurities? Is your money able to take away your feeling of low self-worth? Is your money able to, you know what I'm saying? The success is not about accomplishing and gathering more things. Well, my perspective, success is the ability to live in the present moment. Success is the ability to practice living in the present moment. you will experience real freedom. Money doesn't buy real freedom. Just because you have a lot of money, you may have, freedom as far as time, but money doesn't buy personal, vibrational, internal freedom. Nobody's saying this. Nobody's talking about it. Will you stop? You will not experience real freedom until you stop identifying with you, meaning you, the person. This practice is not easy, but the identification with either your humanness or deeper awareness, godliness, a presence, and awareness. Did I say awareness twice? It's not about this world here. It's not about this physical world. I get it. We're all here. We're all quote unquote human. But the humanness, the practice is to transcend humanness, transcend the ego, transcend the mind, transcend the one perspective, transcend to get to another level of awareness, another level of being, transcend it. And the more you practice, the easier it becomes. This measuring trust, it's easy to practice trust when the sun is out. Who are you when the storm? Who are you when the storm hits? As soon as we're born, we're given a name, a nationality, a religion, a race, and a culture. And then you spend the rest of your life identifying with that and defending the program. We're going to wake up, all this shit's going to be gone. And the meaningless, the meaningless of this fleeting world that changes. I mean, the attachment to the human world. It is a challenge to let go. It is a challenge to let go of that attachment. But I promise you, there will be more contentment. And I'm not saying, hey, just live in a mountain, live in a cave, and no, that's not it. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is to be aware of the truth and what's not. And the truth is, I ain't attaching to anything in this human world. At least that's the practice. And getting back to measuring trust. So that's a question that you, my dear listener, my dear audience, can only answer. What happens when you are confronted by the storm? What happens? What happens instantly? Is it a behavior to, this is serious, this is important? Because that's another program. The program that the belief that this is serious and this is important will always subtract from your contentment, will always subtract from your happiness. And again, I get it. I know the world will deem this is serious and this is important. However, what I'm telling you is that is a programmed belief, and you can still take action and you can still move throughout the world without that added baggage, without that. Have you ever overpacked? Gone on a trip and I don't know how to break that. The overpacking. I could be going somewhere for 3 days and I got 2 suitcases. I'm exaggerating, but it's the same thing with this mental overpacking. You don't need to believe in that program of, this is serious, this is important. That's another program. It is, without a judgment, what it is. Let go of that energy of serious, important, because that subtracts from your peace. That subtracts from your contentment. Keep on doing what you got to do, but you don't need that extra added baggage. The other thing about measuring trust And this can only this is a personal issue. So when I say happiness specialist, one of the reasons why besides just destiny, is I was curious. How is it even possible to be happy regardless of what happens? And again, when I say happy, I'm talking about a personal energy, a personal vibration of contentment. Happiness has nothing to do with what happens. Happiness has nothing to do with anything external. And in fact, that's another test and another practice. Are you moved by? Are you affected by? Win the lottery. I won the lot $500 million, $100 trillion. Is that going to switch your vibration? And I get it. I don't believe you, Rebecca. If somebody gave you $500 million, your vibration would. No, no. The vibration, the energy doesn't come from anything outside. But the world teaches something different. The world teaches that be affected by your day. Oh, I'm having a good day. I'm having a bad day. Well, all labels, every label subtracts from happiness. So, again, measuring trust, let go of the labels. Life is an experience without judgment, good or bad. This judging and this labeling and this having preferences and expectations are all programs. And again, just to share, my latest book, it's called Program for Unhappiness, Exposing the Untold Truth. In this book, it's on Amazon. In this book, I list 56 program behaviors. Programmed, and there's different levels, level 1, level 2, level 3. And also in Program for Unhappiness, I also list 26 behaviors that anyone can practice that's going to add to your contentment. Again, your vibration of happiness, your vibration of contentment. Let me just go over some of these program behaviors. Number 1, well, in any order, blaming anyone or blaming any circumstances for how you feel. Comparing yourself to someone else. This is another program, comparing. You look out into nature. Animals aren't comparing. It is a program to compare yourself with anyone else. We are as unique as our fingerprints. And so remembering that and practicing, again, practicing, not looking out and, oh, well, no, the uniqueness. God doesn't God doesn't create two of the same. So that's another program, comparing. Number 3, taking anything personally. This is an impersonal world. It's not personal what anyone does or anyone says. Now, let me just list some of the non-program behaviors that add to inner peace, contentment, and happiness. And one of them is practicing trust. When I say practicing trust, I mean in all situations, which is just being bombarded with, I trust that everything is unfolding for my betterment. I trust that everything is in order. I trust and believe that all that is happening is serving me in some way. I trust, and it is a practice. It is a focus like a laser. The focus isn't on anything. I mean, if you do value contentment and peace over everything else, what over health? I get this. Health is wealth. Well, health isn't wealth if you're not feeling content. Health isn't wealth if you're not at peace. Health isn't wealth if you're healthy and you're bothered and you can get offended. Contentment is wealth. Living in the present moment is wealth. Knowing the truth about this journey is wealth. My perspective, and who am I? Only the global leading happiness specialist. Witness more, identify less. What does that mean? Practice witnessing. Practice looking at, perceiving this all this whole circus that's called life. This whole circus. Practice just witnessing and observing. Again, it's just a practice. Happiness, contentment, inner peace is a practice. Oh, look at what's going on next door. As opposed to it's like there's an automobile accident, and you drive up and you're nobody's been hurt, but there's two cars that collided, and you were either involved in the accident or you're not. So this life is just being, and when I say involved, I'm talking about emotionally, vibrationally, energetically, a mind, ego involved in it. And I know it's not an easy practice, but there is a way to separate. There is a way to practice separating and practice witnessing life as opposed to being all in it. At least that's my practice. Measuring trust. I promise you that the more you practice falling into it, it's an automatic go-to. The more you practice automatic going into it and just, I trust. Doesn't feel good, doesn't look good, don't understand it, but I trust. The more you practice that, the easier it gets. And the more you practice that, the more you identify, your identity becomes automatic trust. The more you practice, and you know that this is with anything, any kind of skill, the more you practice, the easier it gets. So I encourage, inspire, I encourage you to practice more of, practice what, Rebecca? Wanting, needing, valuing this thing, this energy of contentment. Prioritizing peace in all moments. Oh, prioritize peace in all moments. What kind of crap is that? Prioritize in valuing peace as opposed to drama. I mean, I used to be addicted to drama. That's another addiction. Who cares about the addiction to drugs and alcohol and shopping and food? How about being addicted to drama, addicted to needing to be right, addicted to having expectations, addicted to complaining, addicted to looking at things negatively, addicted to sharing bad news. These are the addictions that no one talks about. Addicted to being in someone else's business, addicted to judging, addicted to offering advice when nobody's asked you. Guilty back in the day. The other thing, being okay with, this is not an easy practice, but here we go. And this also adds to trust. I mean, not only adds to it, it just compounds it. Here we go. Being at peace, practicing being at peace with uncertainty. What? You heard me. Being at peace with uncertainty. That means there is no attachment to what's going to happen tomorrow. There is no attachment to tomorrow. I need to know. And that quote unquote needing to know and having this obsession with the future and not being okay and or at peace with uncertainty is just another program. Just a victim of another programming. And there is, I'm a recovering controlaholic. And it is not easy to go through this life with hands off the steering wheel. I always say either your hands are on the steering wheel, we got to go this, we got to go, we got to move right, we got to move left. No, and to think that you're driving, to have the illusion, to think that I'm in control of what's happening. No. The universe is in control. God is in control. I have no ability to override. I have no ability to void what God has planned for me. I have no power. So that's why the practice is to trust, and that's why the practice is to be at peace with uncertainty. But to all my control freaks out there, again, recovering controlaholic, it's not an easy practice letting go of the steering wheel, especially if your fingers are like this. I'd say one at a time, one finger. Oh, I can't let go of the steering wheel. I have to have the illusion of control. Oh, I know I'm controlling something. I know I am. But if 2 fingers, 3 fingers, and soon, with practice and trust, soon you will be able to. This is how I practice living. I'm not in charge of what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't sign off. And it's kind of like, remember those cars at Disneyland where, this is for the younger kids, where all you do is put the gas on and then the car is already on a rail. So I couldn't turn left if I wanted to. And listen, practice letting go of needing to know. Practice of letting go of what the mind says is important. Practice witnessing and letting go of and eliminating the power of what the mind and the stories and the thoughts have, because the mind and the stories are not you. You're not your mind. You're not your stories. You're not your thoughts. You're more. The other practice when you're measuring trust, and this is another one, this is another deep programmed behavior, which is practicing, this is going to hurt. Practicing patience. Practicing patience with the unfolding of the plan. Practicing patience. You know, when a baby is 9 months, hurry up. It's 6 months. Let's get to 9 months. And especially after the baby is born, there's no rush to get that baby walking. Hey, baby, start walking, start feeding yourself, start talking. No, there is a lot of patience with a newborn. There's a lot of patience with a puppy or a kitten. There's a lot of patience. And all I'm saying is practice having patience with the process. And the practice comes from more trust. The practice of patience comes with trust. This trust is big, and it's not, this practicing trust, blind trust is big, and it's not an easy practice, but the more you practice, and you know this, and I know this, the more you practice, I don't care what it is, the easier it becomes. Not only the easier it becomes, but it's a go-to. When you have trust as your go-to and not just sometimes, all the time, life is not like this. Life is like, It feels like, I'm 69 years old. I'm going to be 70. Don't tell anybody that at this stage, thanks a lot, universe, for all of this late in my life. I'm in the 4th quarter here anyway, I digress. There is a peace, and there is a calmness, and it feels like a slowing down of every moment There is a slowing down, especially even with all the activity that happens. But there is a calmness and a peacefulness when trust, letting go without resistance happens. I promise you. The other thing, stay out of everybody else's business. Trust that everybody is on their specific journey, and everybody's journey is not your journey. And thinking that I know what's best for someone else is just another program. So practice trusting and letting go of these people. Stay out of these people's business, letting go of these people and trusting that their journey is meant for them to experience, to learn something from it, to grow from it. It is serving them in some way. And when you are in someone else's business, guess where you're not? In the mirror. You can't be in someone else's business and the mirror at the same time. So if you're in someone else's business, you can't be in the mirror. It's an easy distraction looking at someone else, looking out there and finding fault or finding something wrong or making a judgment. And that's another practice, acceptance of all of this. And that isn't done without practicing trust. Okay, I've come to the end of the show. Again, Program for Unhappiness, Exposing the Untold Truth is on Amazon. And in this book, I list 56 program behaviors that subtract from a person's happiness. Happiness, AKA the energy vibration of contentment. And also in this book, I list 26 behaviors that you can practice, that I practice on a daily, not only daily, moment by moment, to add to your contentment. And it depends on what you value. But I promise you, whether you get it now or whether you get it a decade from now or whether you get it closer to your deathbed, you will get it. You will get what's important. And the valuing, and all I'm saying is value, peace, contentment now. The practice is now or not. Well, that's the end of today's show. You've been listening to Reality Spirituality Radio. We just heard every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Reality Spirituality, that's my handle on Instagram. My website is RebeccaNorrington.com. Rebecca Norrington. Follow me on X at RL Norrington. I'm on LinkedIn. My YouTube channel is growing. Thank you so much for subscribing. Like and subscribe. My first book, Reality Spirituality, The Truth About Happiness, that was published in 2014. But my latest book, the latest one was published last year, Program for Unhappiness, Exposing the Untold Truth. This is on Amazon. And in this book, I list 26 program behaviors that subtract from a person's contentment, happiness. And it, again, happiness, when I say it, is a personal energy, a personal vibration. And so the practice is to, how do you maintain that energy and sustain that energy of contentment, regardless of what the world throws out? It is possible, and it is a practice. Until next week, my dear audience, I want you to remember who the hell you are. You are a physical extension of the universe, your conscious energy, having a human experience. You're always changing, always evolving. Love is patient and love is kind. Be patient and be kind with yourself by accepting where you are on your journey, accepting the journey in every moment. Be your own best friend. Remember, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. That's a quote from Abraham Hicks. You've been listening to Reality Spirituality Radio with yours truly, global happiness specialist, Rebecca L. Norrington. That's right. The L is for not loser. Remember, happiness is a practice skill. And I promise you, the more you practice, the more peace you're going to find, and your experience in every moment in every moment reflects on what you practice. Have a conscious week. See you next week. Queuing up the theme song. Let's go.
It's time to get real. Oh, yeah.
It's a new experience.
Yeah, keep your ears open for this one now.
Got a question for RLN.
It's time to get some answers, baby.
Oh, now we getting real.
It's time to get down.
Signing off.
Yeah, you're gonna feel good now. Real good.
Time to get. Have a conscious week. Next week.